time in little more than 2 weeks, a devastating earthquake rocked Nepal. Tuesday's 7.3 magnitude earthquake brought down buildings and sent people running into already damaged streets.
All of the buildings in the area that I was driving through, where we ended up stopping, just empty. There's literally hundreds of people, moms with their kids close to their breasts, men, young kids pouring out of these buildings. A lot of confusion, a lot of real anxiety.
Dozens of people are confirmed dead in Nepal and in neighboring India, and at least 1,200 people are injured. Officials say many people have been rescued alive from the rubble. The quake's epicenter was about 85 kilometers from Mount Everest in a remote area. The previous quake was 7.8 magnitude and killed more than 8,000 people. Video of Nepal's parliament shows the moment the tremor hit, sending lawmakers fleeing the room. It also triggered a powerful landslide in a sparsely populated region just north of Kathmandu. Relief workers already mobilized from the April quake are providing shelter and supplies. India's Air Force is also providing aid. Many people are sleeping in tents away from damaged buildings that could be unstable. A potentially life-saving move, especially since experts warn that aftershocks could continue. I'm Karen Capa reporting.
Fans worry with Tom Brady suspended for 4 games, the New England Patriots could start the season by raising their championship banner without their Super Bowl MVP.
You can't unveil the banner without Brady being there. You can't do it.
I don't want to see a banner without Brady.
Patriots fans criticized the league on Twitter using the hashtag #NoBradyNoBanner. Others showed their support by buying jerseys, making it clear they don't think any less of Tom Brady.
Oh, no, of course. No, he's the greatest of all time. Are you kidding me?
And that they think the 4-game suspension is too long.
Not that. That's a lie.
I think it's too much. It's wrong.
I think it's a little bit excessive.
I think it's excessive, and I don't think he really knew about it.
The Wells report found Brady was likely at least generally aware of the inappropriate activities of locker room attendant Jim McNally and equipment assistant John Jastrzemski, both of whom have been suspended without pay indefinitely since May 6th. The team itself faces a $1 million fine and the loss of its first-round draft pick next year. The Patriots have called the sanctions unreasonable. In a statement, Tom Brady's agent called his suspension ridiculous, saying there's no evidence Brady directed staff to deflate footballs before the AFC Championship game, and he says he plans to appeal. I'm Andrew Spencer, reporting.
In 1997, I had a brain tumor, and that knocked out the hearing in my left ear, pretty much about 85% of the hearing. And I got a hearing aid that kind of opened up sound to that side. My audiologist was telling me that at some point there's going to be a hearing aid that Bluetooths. And then over the years, I've lost hearing in my right ear. And then it got to the point where sound worked with Apple and came out with a hearing aid that Bluetooth with the phone and pulled the trigger and got the hearing aid.
Were you ever using a hearing aid that wasn't connected?
My left one was just on or off.
Really?
It was like, and if I needed to change the settings in that hearing aid, I would have to go to the audiologist, and they would have to do everything on the computer setting.
So tell me what it was like when you first got the technology that connected your hearing aid to your phone.
It was amazing. I mean, it's night and day. To be able to answer the phone without taking the hearing aid out and putting the phone up to your ear.
So were you counting down for the Apple Watch?
I didn't realize when I had heard about the Apple Watch everything you were going to be able to do on it. I mean, I thought, the Apple Watch really, kind of a cool toy. Once I saw what I'm able to do with the hearing aids, it's another great feature. To be able to use the music when I'm running and have that Bluetooth through the hearing aid, it's amazing. Otherwise, I would have to wear headsets. And if I wore headsets, I wouldn't have a hearing aid. I'd hear the music, but I'm not going to hear traffic as well.
So anything I can hear through my phone, now all of a sudden you have access to in your hearing aids through Bluetooth.
Exactly. Whereas before, to wear a Bluetooth headset, you wouldn't be able to wear a hearing aid.
So walk me through and show me how you're using the watch with your hearing aids and your phone.
This is actually my hearing aid app, because I've been using it. That's the first one that comes up.
So there are 4 settings. What are the 4 different options?
There's an all-around setting. I can adjust the bass and the treble in that setting also. There's a restaurant setting. There's a music setting, and then there's an outdoor where I can actually block out some of the wind noise.
One of the big concerns that a lot of people have about the watch is the battery. What happens if the battery on these die?
The hearing aid still works.
Uh-huh.
The hearing aid batteries are completely separate from the phone and the watch.
Can you adjust them then?
I can still cycle through all the programs, I just won't be able to fine-tune. Honestly, the hearing aid batteries are more important to me than the phone battery and the watch battery. So I have batteries at home, I have batteries in my car, I have batteries in my locker at work.
Do you ever feel like you have just too
Much technology?
Yeah, between the hearing aid, the watch, and the phone, or are you just grateful that you have
I'm so grateful. Like, God has blessed me with so many ways of different technology like this because it really has opened up so much. If it means that I'm tied to these gadgets to improve the way that I'm hearing things, then so be it.
In early April, Thailand's Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha officially declared the fight against human trafficking a national agenda. Over the years, despite the political posturing, activist groups say there's little to show that changes have been made or that they're proving effective. We met Samat Senasuk, who'd been repatriated in a Thai government rescue mission from an Indonesian island. He says he was tricked into working on board for longer than he planned, without payment, and refused permission to leave whenever he asked to go home. He broke down repeatedly as he told us his story of 6 years of abuse at sea. What we weren't expecting is to hear that despite this clear description of being held against his will and forced to work, which can only be described as slave labour, Samat would return to Thailand to find authorities refusing to register him as a victim of human trafficking.
I think I am a victim of human trafficking, but I don't know why. They don't recognise me as one. If I wasn't a victim, I would have known everything about this job from the very beginning.
We contacted the police officials involved in taking Samat's and other fishermen's statements. 2 officers told CNN there are many cases that aren't being recognised as victims of trafficking. They added this doesn't mean it's the end of the investigation and things may change. But for the time being, Samat and many others like him aren't considered victims. Activists say for the victims, recognition of trafficking status is a first step towards justice, which could include financial compensation for the slavery they've endured. The evidence is circumstantial, but prolific enough to be cause for concern. Out of 73 fishermen repatriated to Thailand between August 2014 and March this year, the government has registered 21 as trafficked. In April, a highly publicised repatriation brought 68 men back home. The number considered trafficked by the government, just 9. A prominent anti-trafficking group considers all of them as victims of trafficking. The Labour Rights Promotion Network has slammed the government for its inaction.
The government is paying less attention to the real situation and more attention to showing reduced numbers of victims.
LPN alleges the government wants to manipulate the numbers merely for the trafficking in persons or TIP report published annually by the US government.
Because it is about time for another TIP report, which will rank Thailand on tackling human trafficking, Thai authorities want to go back up to Tier 2 or Tier 2.5 because last year it was Tier 3.
That's the lowest ranking Thailand's ever been. The Thai government's new numbers will be published in the next TIP report to be released by the US State Department in June.
We, the jury, find George Zimmerman not guilty.
George Zimmerman's 2013 acquittal in the shooting death of Trayvon Martin hasn't kept the polarizing figure away from the law. In September of that year, Zimmerman's estranged wife called 911 over an alleged altercation. She declined prosecution. No charges were filed.
He pointed at me for a second and said, "Do you really want to do this?"
Then 2 months later, he was arrested on aggravated assault charges after his then-girlfriend said Zimmerman pointed a gun at her during an argument and smashed her coffee table. Later, prosecutors decided not to pursue the case. A year later, Florida resident Matthew Apperson said Zimmerman threatened to kill him during a road rage incident, but Apperson never pursued charges. In January 2015, Zimmerman was arrested again after an ex-girlfriend said he threw a wine bottle at her. She later recanted. No charges were filed.
I'm like, what? You shot George Zimmerman? He said, yes, sir. I shot George Zimmerman. Just please call 911.
This latest incident, a shooting, and this time Zimmerman was the target.
You can see the gunshot wound on the passenger side right there?
According to Zimmerman's lawyer, the same man from the road rage incident in September 2014 pulled up next to George yelling obscenities at him. When Zimmerman raised the window, the man shot through the glass, almost hitting him in the head. Apperson says Zimmerman first waved a gun at him, something Zimmerman's attorney outright denies.